Hello and welcome back, my cosmic baddies, my witchy besties, to Chakras and Cusswords podcast. My name is Catherine and I am your host. Today we are going to dive deep into the energy of a current aspect that is occurring on April 24th of 2025. This energy is known as a beautiful conjunction that a lot of us have already experienced, but really, it is going to be one of the last times we experience this conjunction for quite some time. So, we should use this energy in areas of benefit and taking this astrological moment to kind of blend the energies of love and responsibility into our own emotional realm and into our own emotional presence. As we have Venus having a conjunction with Saturn in Pisces for probably the last time for quite some time. So Saturn's getting ready to make some big moves. And for those who know, Big Daddy Saturn, and I know that sounds so cringeworthy, but I don't care. Big Daddy Saturn is, packing his bags and he's getting ready to get the fuck out of here and get out of this Pisces energy and step into that fire element that the Aries brings. So Saturn is going to transit into Aries around May 24th of 2025. This is going to be a astrological shift. And then Saturn's going to also retrograde in Aries in December of 5th of 2025, and then Saturn will return to Pisces while in retrograde until January 6th of 2026. Then Saturn will re-enter back to Aries like he always does, that damn energy, and he will be direct, and he will re-enter that energy of being in Aries on February 14th of Valentine's Day of 2026. And then Saturn leaves Aries one last time, April 12th of 2028. So this energetic shift is going to be occurring for quite some time. The Saturn and Aries combo back to Pisces. But what we probably won't see is that Saturn and Venus energy in new movements, as we currently have the planets direct and we have Venus out of retrograde. So this is kind of like an energetic moment that we're going to want to use. So let's talk about it, okay? And what does this mean for us, right? What does this mean for us as an individual? What does this mean for us in energies of love? Because Venus is all about love, beauty, and that charisma. And Saturn is all about responsibility, boundaries, and areas of like seeing certain aspects. And that a dreamy, emotional, illusion type energy that feels so comic, cosmic, and like, oh, like when I think about Pisces is so like watery. It kind of gives you that area that feels very dreamy and like mystical. So what does that all mean? What does that fucking mean to us? And I just want to remind you guys, you're on Chakras and Cusswords and you are with a girl who doesn't have the best grammar. I got a little bit of love hate, more hate than love for my bad grammar. And, it is what it is. But I knew it was coming because I had a feeling some of my pronunciation is not the best. Okay, what can I say? I have problems with English. I have problems with this language. I'm supposed to be speaking some other language. It's not this language. It's some language of the ancients. And unfortunately, I'm stuck here with people with pens and pads who judge my grammar. So let's continue. So, what does the Venus conjunction of Saturn and Pisces mean? Well, Venus rules love, beauty, pleasure, money, and values. It's everything mystical, beautiful, and it just has this bad bitch energy. Saturn is Big Daddy Saturn. And I know that sounds, so creepy. But Saturn is kind of like a creep. I mean, in some ways. Saturn has been tied into areas of responsibilities, structures, and everything that's feeling very like Matter of fact. Matter of fact, okay. Saturn's about maturity and long term commitments. And Pisces is that intuitive nature, that dreamy, spiritual, emotional bound that really takes us into that area of thinking outside of the box, thinking in the conscious space, but also being a little bit naive and also rattling the feathers of people who have probably like a lot of Saturn placements. Venus is about coming together, creating love, abundance, and beauty. And then Saturn is kind of like, I don't know. Saturn definitely has that karmic energy that kind of wakes us up and lets us see that sometimes we can't be so dreamy and naive because we have to work on energies of moving forward with our areas of being grounded. When Venus and Saturn comes together in this conjunction, their energies merge together. And it possibly puts Venus through a reality check. I mean, come on, girl. Not everything can be beautiful rosebuds, right? I mean, love has an area of you want it to last. And if you're just floating away on a cloud, you might get swept away with some energy that isn't very reality based. So Saturn is the one that kind of wakes Venus up from her beautiful sleep. It's kind of like the prince in Sleeping Beauty. And it's like, is this love? Is this real, lasting, spiritually aligned love? Or is this something else? Is he only texting me at 3 a.m.? Is it worth the commitment or is it all an illusion? And I think a lot of us are going to be getting centered around that area of commitment. And some of us are ready and some of us are not. The energy that we might feel around this transit is going to be love with a depth. You may feel drawn to relationships that offer emotional maturity and spiritual connections. So honey boo boo, if those hookups are finally starting to get to you and you're realizing like, oh, you need more, I want more, I'm feeling more, it really might come to surface as those emotions kind of get more centered with this conjunction one last time, as Saturn is in some critical energy, and so is that area of Venus. Commitment, commitment, commitment. Oh, that is the word that makes men cringe. Well, some men are ready. Some women aren't ready as well. The commitment test will definitely be spiking in relationships. It might be seen as a make it or break it. There might be some ultimatums. There might be some choices and decisions, especially with energies of partnerships. Especially those who have built some dream-like personas, wishful thinking, and naive illusions, where the reality of this conjunction comes crashing down. We might also see some energy around financial boundaries and areas of investments and even tied into money. So we might see some topics hit the news if they haven't been hitting enough with all these damn tariffs. But it continues to show that our energy of investing and creating towards financial wealth, boundaries, and also practices might have to take a big, deeper look. Let's be honest, that energy of Venus is like, hey girl, I want to max out the credit card. I mean, Nordstrom doesn't have a sale that much. So let's go to shopping, right? But then we have that realistic nature. Are we really going to spend $3,000 on a Louis Vuitton after we just heard that most of the Louis aren't even really made in France or in Italy, wherever it is claimed, that 80% of them are actually made in China. And then they ship it over to Italy just to get some brand loading so they could say, yep, it was made in Italy. I mean, there's been an area where some people are like, no, say it's not so. But are we buying the energy of the moment, of walking into the Louis Vuitton store, drinking the champagne, taking in that area of fantasy that the Pisces brings? Or is the hard facts of Saturn waking us up from that energy? So we might see some more ties with the energetic cycle around finances. Also, it's time for realism to meet idealism. And I will say, as one who's been getting some critiques, I have definitely been looking at improving my way of communication. Kind of. But I still want to stay authentic to me. And that means sometimes I can't pronounce some words and my grammar's shit. Don't thank me, thank the Oakland Public School District. Okay, hey, Oakland Public School, hi. Pisces wants to dissolve the boundaries, but Saturn builds them back up and says, no, girl, you got to get a little bit more responsible. You got to get a little bit more centered. You're not everybody's cup of tea, but you at least want people to know that you're a good, piping hot, steamy, beautiful energy of mystical magic and fantasy with a little bit of structure. Okay. So we allow that creative discipline to let our artistic talents move forward. And we let that artistic talent to be centered with our authentic nature, which some of us might see with this conjunction, especially if you're an artist, a healer, or somebody who is kind of centered in that spiritual realm, or the area of letting dreams and mysticalism tantalize your audience. So do have a little bit of structure. You don't want to be too kooky. You don't want to be too much of a woo-woo. The Pisces influence definitely sets that energy of the woo, and baby girl, I've been living in it. That energy of emotional layers are thick. It likes to be thick. It's a thickens. That energy of karmic connections, soul contracts, and how discipline should really coexist in this energy of the dream world. Kinda is the vibe. You know, how do we all get this to exist? How do we get the energy of responsibilities to exist in a high vibration, subconscious area of the Pisces energy, especially with love? Well, I'm going to tell you one. Look at those commitments. Look at those unions and look at that energy of healing. Now we might get some criticism, right? In our areas of love and relationships, interpersonal relationships, even with finances and career. But understanding our emotional side, understanding where our shadow side leads us sometimes is a good reflection. Emotional suppression and feeling unloved and unworthy and feeling like people don't appreciate your work sometimes could leave us very, very sad. So this is a time where we're going to use this energy to reflect at some point. But we're also going to know that we can only be as authentic and realistic as that Piscean energy allows us to. We have to continue to move forward with our dreams, and allowing this Saturn and Venus energy will let us pick it up in our areas of love and adapt new stability and resources to continue to grow. We have to remember that coldness, harshness, where was once warmth or feeling of prosperity, sometimes will get reflected with this energy that we will be feeling. There's definitely some areas of reflection that we can do because there is a lot of karmic influence. And there's also a lot of areas of not being naive with this energy. Looking at things that we absolutely love with our rose-colored glasses might be kind of getting ripped off our face as Venus conjuncts Saturn and Pisces. So what relationships or values are worth building for the long haul? Now, I'll be honest, This is a tricky one. And when we are reflecting on this, I really would say that you want to look at what feels right with you and what feels destined with you. There are some relationships you're going to want to let go of. Some personality traits you're going to want to move forward with or get a little bit more structured. But what relationship or values are worth building for the long haul? For instance, if you can't see yourself doing this, whatever it is, this relationship, this energy of being in a commitment, a hookup, or in a job, or in a creative project for another 5 to 10 years, that long haul stability of responsibilities might come crashing down. Another one that we want to talk about is, where do I need boundaries? Oh, boundaries. If I say that B word one more time, I feel like somebody's gonna fucking lose it. Boundaries, responsibilities. But where do I need boundaries in love and money? Okay, and I will say I've been a little bit on a shopping spree. And I had to tell myself the other day, bitch, you do not need another pair of black shorts, okay? I know summer's coming and yes, they are on sale at Costco, but you're here to get eggs. You're not here to get black booty shorts. Put those damn shorts back. You know you're old when you're shopping and buying eggs at Costco and buying booty shorts at Costco all at the same time, okay? What the fuck? I said, put those back, put those back, put those back. They were only $10 and I'm still thinking about them. But let me stop. I got to see if I have black shorts. If I don't have black shorts, I'm probably going to go pick them back up because, $10. It's $10. But I've been a little bit on a shopping spree and I need to slow my roll. So where do you need more boundaries in love or money? Think about this, right? Could you be starting your garden, working towards having something a little bit more long, sustainable type items? Could you be working towards creating new intentions around new things? Can you be having more boundaries in your relationship? Maybe you're tired of him giving you last minute, or her, because let's face it, some of these women be a little crazy too. Last minute date ideas. Maybe you feel like they only call you when they need something from you, right? Maybe you're not feeling appreciated. So where do I need the boundaries in the love and the money? We're going to do both. My cosmic baddies, we're going to do both. Am I committed to my dreams, or am I just romanticizing them? That's a hard one, especially for my creatives, especially for my healers, especially for my spiritualist, especially for the artiste, the artist. I applaud artists. Oh my gosh, you guys are amazing. You guys are absolutely amazing. Being a struggling artist, being an artist with a plan, with a vision, with a dream that Pisces allows you to bring, and working on it day by day, working on it, committing to it, even when people don't buy it, even when people don't pre-order it, even when people are stealing your material, and you continue to fucking show up. You are committed. Are you committed, or are you just romanticizing it? Romanticizing it sometimes, right? I always romanticize a little bit of my art, right? I consider this my art. So when people are like, she got bad grammar, I'm like, I know I got bad grammar. Shit. I've been dealing with learning disabilities, bad grammar all my fucking life. There's not much I could do about it. I'm just trying to improve and trying to show up for the collective, trying to show up for myself. I knew people were going to say something about my grammar. They're like, honey, what the fuck? That's why it's called Chakras and Cusswords. It's not called Chakras and Good Grammar. But the people who get it, I feel like you guys get it. And I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Am I committed to my dreams, or am I just romanticizing them? This is a good one for the artiste, for the lover, for the witchy bestie. How can I bring structure to my creative or spiritual presence? And this one, I feel like I love the fact that so many people are so centered around this creative element, so centered around movement, so centered in waking up in their own consciousness, of their own self-awareness. So allowing your structure of creativity to move forward, or in your areas of spirituality, especially with that energy being aligned with responsibilities and being aligned with that movement of being one with it. We are definitely looking at the interpersonal space, even though Venus is here for the party. Even though Venus is here for the party, this energy is always about interpersonal, right? Astrology, yes, astrology, the energy of the alchemy, the energy of movement and love, the energy of relationships, the energy of our dreams for our relationships is the centerpiece. But Venus is also about self-love. Pisces is about our dreams, our areas of illusion and consciousness and awareness, where Saturn brings that area of root structure, that area of that diplomatic approach, that energy that feels a little bit tied with that karmic energy that sees real life connections and partnerships in an interpersonal area. The energy around these relationships will have us thinking, is this our soulmate or is this a karmic tie? Is this our area of twin flames? Is there a deeper purpose? Is there a strong vibe that is not just getting finished? Our emotional contracts and our area of connection will really be highlighted. You may feel a power to draw into someone, but Saturn is asking you, is this grounded? Is this relationship healthy on an interpersonal level? And I will say, this sometimes is the hardest part of a relationship, because as an interpersonal level, you might have everything you want from the relationship on the external. You might have the area of the dates, the area of the travel, the area of, doing all the things. Maybe he compliments you. Maybe he loves you. Maybe he gathers all these beautiful things around you, blah, 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 blah. But on the interpersonal level, how does it feel for you? Relationships can be deepened with commitment during this time, but there is also an energy where you want to dissolve whatever illusion that is occurring. Whatever illusion that is occurring. Because when Saturn moves from out of Pisces into Aries, it will abruptly be about you, about that energy of identity. So look at it now before you prolong something that isn't feeding your soul, that isn't feeling your authentic nature. And that could be with relationships, career relationships, wealth relationships, personal relationships. This is more about the interpersonal energy. We realize that Pisces energy tends to merge sometimes so strong that Saturn helps define that energy of wake up, girl, wake up. And that's the thing that I would say one of the reasons why Saturn has that big daddy element, because whatever a big daddy is to you, it's that energy of saying, wake up. No, you shouldn't do this. No, you need a little bit more structure. No, you're not allowed to go to your friend's house. I know if you're a Latina, honey, you weren't spending the night at nobody's house. Okay, shit. You weren't allowed to do shit. So it's that time of like, no, you're not doing that. And you might be like, why? All my friends are doing it. Oh my God, all my friends are doing it. I wanted to do it. Oh my God. What do you mean I can't get drunk on a Tuesday? Because you got to show up on work on a Wednesday and you're going to feel like crap. I mean, maybe if you're in your 20s, you go, girl, you do that. You know, you guys can reboot a lot better than us oldens, than us Gen X's. You know, the 20-year-olds, they could reboot. Shit. My ass could go out drinking, honey. I'm recouping for 2 days, okay? That's all I got to say. But it's a great time to establish those healthy boundaries and romantic and also platonic relationships where you understand the discipline, you understand the responsibility that Saturn brings on a personal space. This isn't about the butterflies. It's about long-term goals. You know, the butterflies are cool. They last, you know. We saw Mr. Big and Carrie. They had a bunch of butterflies. But then what happened? They had a roller coaster of ups and downs, where the butterflies were gone. She was just getting hit with atomic bombs, you know. So, and I don't want to do that for multiple years. I don't. And this energy will allow us to look at our relationships, seeing the energies of clearing delusions in love. We can't be so delulu like J-Lo. You know, J-Lo girl, we all knew. I mean, we wanted it to work out with you and Ben, but we all knew. Babe. Not the same thing twice. Not that far apart. Not when he's goo gaga off any girl named Jennifer. So the Saturn influence helps us to see that part of allowing that Piscean fog of the water waves to clear our mind and have that area of reality hit us. The illusions, the projections, the fantasies, they may fall apart during this transit, but in all honesty, some of us need it. And then we go put back the pieces. Oh, so you might realize that you've been romanticizing someone, some place, some event, some investment a little bit too much. And our relationship dynamic might be feeling not as aligned as we thought it was. And it is a time where we work on that. But if we are centered around more energies of feeling, let's say, you know what, honey, it feels good. My relationship feels good. I don't know what you guys got going on. I'm going to tell you mine feels good. Okay? So you're going to be working on investing in that relationship, bringing more structure to that relationship, bringing more healing to that relationship, especially with this Pisces energy. Being more self-aware with that relationship. We got a good thing, but we can improve some ways, right? Maybe I shouldn't be so controlling. Maybe I shouldn't pick out his clothes for him. Maybe I shouldn't just, say, oh my God, you got a spaghetti stain on your shirt. What is wrong with you? Maybe I should just, say, oh, I bought you a Tide stick, babe. Here, so you could carry it around with you because I know you get so excited when you eat my spaghetti. Definitely express that area of feeling the union, working on the love, working on the emotional healing, working on the strong bond. If you got a good thing, honey, don't lose it. Don't break it. Don't fuck it up. And I'm not saying you're going to fuck it up, but sometimes I get a little fucked up. But just work on that energy, work on that area of encouraging growth, encouraging long stability. Because I'm going to tell you, y'all know I'm not single, but I have heard some horror stories. I just look at mine with the spaghetti stain on his shirt and said, I'll keep him. Because I'm not trying to do this shit again. Fuck. After hearing some of these stories, no ma'am, no thank you. my hats go off to the single ladies and men. In friendships, you might be feeling distant, right? So if that energy, or in relationships might be feeling a little distant, you're going to work on it. Now for my singles. My singles. I love a single. Singles are fun. I love hearing your guys' stories. I love when my single friends call me. Girl, they call me and they tell me, and then I always know when they start the conversation off with like, bitch, you gotta hear this. Like, give me all that cheese, man. Gimme. And they're like, this is what happened. And I'm like, oh, honey, oh my goodness, what? Yes. So if you are single, you could meet someone during this time. Maybe meet somebody who's a little bit older and more mature. Now, I do know that the younger ladies and the cougars are definitely dating some younger men. I have a few friends who are dating younger men. And I hear the stories, and I can definitely see why. Because the younger men are making them feel vivacious. The younger men are making them feel, woohoo, living on cloud 9, honey. Living on cloud 9. And it works for you, girl. It works for me. If you like it, I love it. Okay? But definitely make sure that energy is grounded, right? Is this going to be somebody who wants to have kids? If they're not, they're like, I don't want to have kids, and you can't have kids, girl, keep going. You got it figured out, right? But it's a great time to respect and reflect on your love patterns, especially if you're single. So if you're single and you just feel like every relation's getting sabotaged, you just aren't meeting the one, you aren't meeting the love of your life, it is time to look at some of your love patterns, because there is a common denominator in this mix. And the common denominator, I hate to say it, but it was you. Because you're going to look at what is it that all these people have in common. And that thing is you. And another thing is, why are you drawn to these kind of relationships that just don't work out? Do you need to date somebody who's a little bit more mature? Do you need to date somebody who's a little bit more grounded? Maybe not so charismatic. And we love some charismatic men, honey. We sure do. But sometimes we have to look at that, right? We have to look at, okay, maybe it's not what I think it is, because I haven't really taken the time to get to know somebody else, or to get to know a different style. So I'm going to tell you a little story. I'm going to tell you a little story about a single lady. So, and I'm just going to use her zodiac. So she was kind of, single for a while, divorcee, and she had a type. This type was a little bit, I could say the type was a little bit different from hers. A little bit not rugged, but a little bit, maybe a little bit thuggish, just a little thuggish. A little bit like, very handsome, maybe like a pretty boy type. You can always tell those pretty boy types. Kind of, her type was kind of like, what can I say? Her type was definitely kind of like a guy that has always been her type. Like, this type she never really broke away from this type of man. And I guess she just noticed that her type was not really the right type for her. Maybe it was the type that she liked to look at, but when relationships hit, it was not her type. So she ended up dating somebody who's totally not her type. Totally not her type. She told me, this guy's not my type. And I said, well, what about him? Because, sometimes your type is not your type. I said, well, sometimes your soulmate is not your type. And I said, what about him is not, because I pulled her cards, and her cards showed a lot of energy that somebody was coming. He was coming on strong. So when she started dating this new dude, she's like, he's not my type. I said, well, what's your type? She goes, well, not him. He's too country. He's too rugged. He's too, he's just a different type. You go from the pretty boys to somebody who's like, hollering, hey, girl, it's a different look. You know what I'm saying? I said, well, girl, give him a chance, because I feel like there's a lot of root energy with your card drawing. I pulled your card and said, I'm feeling a lot of root energy. I'm feeling a lot of chakra energy. Girl, lo and behold, honey, he was a earth sign. Yeah. So they kept on dating. Next thing you know, girls in love. Next thing you know, they're committed. Next thing you know, they're living together. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes your type is not really your type. And that charismatic pretty boy persona that you might have been used to sometimes can leave you self-sabotage. So look at that common denominator of your love patterns. Avoidance of the unknown. That area of vulnerability. Making us always go to what feels safe to us might be sabotaging some of our relationships. We have to remember that avoidance is rooted in fear of vulnerability. So dating outside of our love patterns sometimes is the best thing for us. Okay? You may feel a little lonely during this time if you are single. I hate to say it to you, but really you are working on the energy of Saturn is helping you get a clearer aspect, a clearer persona, a clearer reality of what it is that you need in some of your energies of love. And when the relationships are here and they're ready, they will be ready. You will be ready. It will all be ready. So look at how can you bring more structure into your relationship dreams without dimming the magic. And get creative with spiritual projects for everybody. So I want to thank everybody for listening to this podcast at Chakras and Cusswords. I love that you guys are here. I love that you guys support me. Thank you so much. My vision is not for everybody. I'm not like I said, I'm not everybody's cup of tea. It might be because I'm champagne, bitch. No, I'm just joking. But anyways, I'm not everybody's cup of tea. And for the ones who get it, I love it. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you guys are here. You guys are amazing. Please give me a 5-star rating. If you feel destined to give me a 2-star and some critiquing, thanks, I guess. But I love you guys. Have an amazing day. And don't forget to share this with your witchy bestie. Bye.